Hey, it's your girl, Allison Williams.
Hey, this is Devon Howard.
Hi, this is Beth.
Hi, this is Cindy Mizell.
Hi, this is Tony Walker.
Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Darian Dean.
Hey, everybody, this is the Queen of Philadelphia, Tangeray Hayward.
Hey, everybody, this is Yasira.
Hi, this is Mason.
Hey, everybody, this is Russell Taylor.
Hey, this is Shireen Crutchfield.
And this is Ricky Jones.
And we are Crutchfield Jones.
Hey, this is Corey Day.
Hey, this is your girl, Castella.
What's up, y'all? This is St. James, and you're listening to my man, Troy Saunders, on the Bass Entertainment Podcast. Let's get it, baby.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Bass Entertainment Podcast. Like St. James says, this is your boy, Troy Saunders. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, I just want to say thank you, everybody that's listening. I'm having such a good time doing this. I'm so glad that the feedback that I've been getting for the past two years has been phenomenal. We are heard in 32 countries, all around the world, all around the country. And I just feel honored and blessed to be able to do this because, you know, it's a labor of love for me. So, and in case you didn't know, maybe this is the first time you're turning on to the Bass Entertainment Podcast. We highlight the best in indie soul, jazz, R&B, inspirational, house, you name it. As long as it's good music, we're going to play it here. As long as it fills your soul, as long as it makes you feel good, that's what it's about. You know, we got enough stuff going on in this country and around the world that just makes us feel down. You know, this is to lift us up. So, you know, that's what this is all about. It started in the pandemic. You know, I said, hey, let me start reaching out to folks that I know. Maybe have them come on in and talk and speak to the people and make them feel good, make me feel good, make the listeners feel good. And it's just been blossoming. So I just got to get to tell you who we have on here today. This brother is phenomenal. He's been around for years and he looks like a baby, but he's been around a long time. Let me tell you, he's been doing so much music for, you know, artists like Shaka Khan and Patty Austin, Lettucey, Lee Retenour, Gerald Albright. I mean, you name it. This brother has played with them and he's just bad as I don't know what. And his name is Melvin Lee Davis. Yeah. I am so honored that he's on here today. But before we start talking to Melvin, I want to take you back. I bet you I'm going to play something that you didn't even know he did. You know, all you 80s baby out there, everybody that listened to Soul Train in the 80s, y'all might know this right here. This would take you back a little bit. This is the Soul Train theme of the 80s. You remember this funky beat right here. In case y'all didn't know, that was O'Brien singing that theme song right there too. Yeah. All I can see with that song is playing is my little Filipino girl there swinging her hair around. Yeah. Yo, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to one of the baddest bassists in the land, Mr. Melvin Lee Davis.
Hey, Troy, what's up, my brother?
Everything is good. Everything is good.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, please. When your people were reaching out, telling me about the music coming out, I said, well, hey, I've been following Output Input from the beginning. So if I can get Melvin on here, yo. But so let me ask you, let's go back because we jumped right into the Output Input. But you had 6, 7 albums even before I started doing Output Input.
Yeah.
And you was born and raised in California.
Yes, Californian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's quite funny. A lot of musicians that I've played with and I run into, that's always it's like, you're from California, as if there weren't any good musicians from California. It's like everybody had to be from the East Coast. But that was, when we were young, we all had the musicians we revered and we respected and loved, and most of them, Detroit, Philly, New York, Chicago. LA had a different kind of,
but you can go up to Oakland.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, everybody that comes out of there.
Yeah. Well, come on. Everybody who came out, Sly, right. T.O.P. I mean, yeah, there's some funky stuff coming out of Oakland.
Right.
But I'm just saying, in terms of what I was listening to, what I was listening to, at least at the time of my development, were a lot of cats on the East Coast. And I got hip to East Bay Grease, a little later on. Thank you for mentioning that because, there's a lot of grease coming out of Oakland.
Yes.
A lot of grease coming out of Oakland. Sly changed the world, man.
Oh, please.
Yeah, he changed the world.
Forget about it.
Forgive me for not mentioning that one. Jesus.
In the beginning, I heard that you played the violin.
Yes. When I was in grade school, my teacher, now see, these are names I don't forget. Mr. Del Sandro. You had a little classroom, kindergarten, first grade by that time, and here this little black kid who had long fingers and didn't know the first thing about playing the violin. But Mr. Del Sandro was big on strings. He violas, violins, cellos, bass. That was his thing. Well, here you have a kid from the city who's like, I'm not trying to hear violins. Back then, James Brown, Motown. It's like, I'm not trying to hear violins.
Right.
So he put a violin in our hands and made us, learn to play it. And I couldn't, it just wasn't something I was interested in. So I went from there, I played it for a year. And then for some reason, I just started playing saxophone. I started, I think Mr. Cole, our music teacher in elementary school, he, when we went into his class, we saw all of these instruments. And I'm like, okay, I want to play that. And it was an alto sax. So I grabbed that and I kind of played saxophone, oh my God, until like my sophomore year in high school. Mm-hmm. That was the instrument. I put the violin down because I never wanted to play it in the first place. And it just, maybe it's because it was forced upon me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something that I naturally gravitated to. But the saxophone, everybody loves saxophone.
Right. So
I was like, that's what I want to play, So I started getting into that. And I played, marching band. Didn't really do jazz band or anything. A lot of it was marching band. And when I got into high school, say my freshman year, I started playing bass. Or guitar, playing guitar. Actually, before I got to high school, I started playing guitar. And of course, I couldn't play with a pick. That didn't appeal to me. So I'm like, man, I want to play guitar, but I can't play with this little thing, rubber thing or whatever. So I then gravitated toward bass. And I was playing bass and saxophone in high school, but I had left violin alone way before then. It was a moment in time.
Do you still pick up the saxophone out every now and then?
I know how to put the reed on them. I know how to blow through them, but don't hold me to memory of how to actually make. Yeah, I mean, I can play it, but I'm so far removed from the art. You would never know I had ever played it.
Well, I'm the same way. I got a trumpet downstairs that I haven't played.
Oh yeah,
please.
Yes, sir.
I was in love with my trumpet at one time, boy. You can please.
Yeah, I mean, it was, wearing the heavy outfits, the uniforms, doing parades, football games, varsity football games, playing in the marching band. It was a good moment in time, but I really wanted to play in my environment, in my neighborhood. There were bands, there were musicians who were really into jazz and musicians who were into funk and stuff. And of course, you're talking about Motown. You're talking about, a whole era of really great music. And none of it was on violin.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just not something I want to, or I wasn't intelligent enough at the time or seasoned enough at the time to realize that behind all of that funky music were violins.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because Mr. Del Sandro put it in my hands and said, "You're going to play violin." And maybe I rebelled against it.
Because nobody going to tell me what to do.
Exactly. And at that time, I'm Smokey Robinson, I'm Temptations. I'm listening to this kind of stuff. And I'm just not hearing the violins as much as I'm hearing the bottom half of the groove, the drums, the bass, the guitar, all the stuff that make you want to dance. Mm-hmm. So as I got older, that's sort of where I was led to play, led to hone my skills, if you will, as a musician.
So how did you get into the actual the industry of music?
Wow. It actually happened when I was a teenager, believe it or not. I was, by this time I was playing local, playing parties here in my neighborhood. There were weddings, parties, every weekend. So I was honing my skills, playing R&B and really just kind of like learning how to play bass, learning how to be a group player in a group setting. And I started getting hired to play in bar band. Well, not really bar bands at the time. I was just playing parties, and people were actually hiring me, and I'm like, "Whoa, you mean I can get paid to do this?" Because at the beginning, that wasn't the past. I just wanted to play. I didn't care about getting paid or anything. I just wanted to play. And all of a sudden, someone asked me, which pretty much ends up being your first professional gig. "Hey, man, we have a party over here. We can pay you a certain amount of dollars. Do you want to do it?" And I'm like, "You mean I can get paid to do this?" So I started doing that, man, and I never looked back. I would say the biggest gig for me at that time was doing a East Coast tour with Miles, Buddy Miles. Mm-hmm. We were all into Hendrix during that time, but I didn't know to the extent of Buddy Miles' greatness, if you will. Band of Gypsies, Jimi Hendrix. But my sister's friend's boyfriend was Toby, was a baritone saxophone player who played with LTD. And since they were going out and he heard me play, he said, "Listen, man," which I guess happened a lot with young musicians. You get the old school, like, "Yeah, let's get this young kid out here on the road. Right. He'll work for peanuts." So I was, once again, I wasn't thinking money, but he thought of that I had enough talent that I could pull off the gig. So he said, "Listen, Buddy Miles is getting ready to go to New York to do a series of dates. I want you to do the gig." And I'm like, "Man, I'd love to." Oh my God, yes. He said, "Okay, well, first we have something going on in, I think it was Philly, and then we're coming back, and then we're going to New York." So I said, "Okay." So he said, "I need you at the airport at 3:00. I've never flown. I hadn't been on a plane. So I'm like, "At the airport?" He said, "Yeah, the flight leaves at 3:00. So I need you at the airport, for a 3:00 flight." I didn't know at the time that you needed to be there
ahead of time.
Yeah. So I had my friend drive me to the airport. It was a 3:00 flight. I had him drive me to the airport. Now I'm in Orange County, which is about an hour from the airport, from LAX, Los Angeles. So he had me, so I went home, I got on my bass guitar, got my gear, packed me a little something. And my friend said, "Okay, I got you. I'm picking you up." So he picks me up. We start going to the airport and flat tire.
Oh, no.
On the way. So I'm like, "Oh my God." So he I think he changed it real quick. We got back in the car, And I still thought we had time because I really didn't know how much time I needed to be there before the flight. I had no idea, no concept of how that worked. So when I got there, I said, "Man, don't leave. Let me make sure I know what I'm doing." The ticket agent said, "Oh no, see that plane right there? That's your flight." I was like, "Oh my God!" So I was heartbroken because it was an opportunity. So so I flew back. I drove back home, heartbroken. And when they got to New York, he called me. He said, "Man, just take the next flight. You'll be fine. Just take the next flight." And then he gave me instruction on how to do it. And so I ended up making it to New York. I think I missed the first. I think they found somebody to do the first one. And because at the end of the day, if you find somebody at the last minute to do a gig for you, you can best believe you're paying him more than you're paying me.
Right.
But "Oh, you stuck?" Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna double charge you.
Exactly. Well, you stuck for a bass player, huh? Okay, good. No, I'll do it, but you got to pay me this much. So they probably said it's cheaper just to fly him to New York,
right?
And we'll go ahead and eat this on this guy. So that's pretty much what happened. And then when I got to New York, it was about a week and a half run, and that was my first big hit, and it was amazing. I just had never toured with anybody like Buddy Miles, and it was just an amazing experience.
Because he's incredible. I mean, my family used to play Buddy Miles, especially it was "We Gotta Live Together." That song. Oh, we were little kids. We was banging pots around the house because all the breakdowns. Everybody had a little part to play.
Yeah, and on Them Changes.
Yes. Ooh.
God, man. Yeah, it was fun times, man, for music. Those were great times for me. Just the whole genre and the exploration, if you will, of all the musicians of that period. I mean, a lot of cats experimenting, whether it be funk, avant-garde, blues, you name it. I mean, that was a great time of music for me.
You ain't lying. And then, so how did that morph into Don Cornelius?
Well, O'Brien and I were kind of, we all came from Santa Ana. We're living in Santa Ana, and a friend of mine, basically heard a song that I was doing, and she said, "Wow, I love what you're doing. Let me take it to a friend of mine." The friend was Ron Kersey. Ron Have Mercy Kersey, a producer at the time, working for Stevie's label on Black Bull Entertainment, and he had written Tavares, in Disco Inferno. He had written that tune. So she brought a demo to him. He dug it. And like, man, okay, well, let's see if we can hook him up. And then he introduced me to Don Cornelius, or introduced O'Brien and I to Don Cornelius. And Don heard it, and the rest is history. With him, he said, "Okay, let's see if we can put something together." And from this, what was the 70s to the 80s, we started working together. And yeah, my first hit with him was actually on O'Brien's material. They were doing other artists during that period, but O'Brien was his main artist. And O'Brien and I pretty much sent a demo with O'Brien singing on it. Don heard it, and as always, okay, I like the singer, but you can come too. So that's how we all kind of fell into the Don Cornelius camp.
Wow. And then after Don, you just started doing a lot of gigs and stuff and writing and.
Yeah. We did 2 or 3. God, how many albums did we do? We did, I'd say maybe. Well, we did the Doing All Right. We did You and I. Mm-hmm. I mean, so there's for me, I think Brian did our tenure with Don Cornelius, like the 80s to the mid 80s, and after that, O'Brien kind of went on his own. But yeah, we had a good 4 or 5, maybe 6 years with Don. Well, so at least I did.
Right.
And then Brian kind of I think he ended up staying with Capitol, and then he may have gone to another label. But yeah, my stint was at that time was like we were touring. Don had other projects. I was sort of working with him on other projects. So yeah, I was sort of the staff bass player, if you will, for Don Cornelius Productions. Mm. And so yeah, I garnered a few products, and with Ron Kersey, who was still working with him at the time. Ron introduced me to Gladys Knight and Pip, so I got to work on some records with him and other projects he was working on. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started for me in terms of getting into the LA scene.
Well, I'm glad that O'Brien is starting to come up with some stuff. We were missing him for a long time, and now he's starting to put out some stuff again too.
Yeah, I'm proud of, because I had always thought, after our tenure with Don, that he needed to be out there doing something, and all in time. Whenever the spirit hits you to do it, you got to do it, but you have to do it when you're ready to do it. And it's just good to know that he's out performing, and because he's still, this thing called music. I think you're done with it when you're buried.
Exactly.
I'm just like, when people are like, well, when are you going to retire? When there's a casket,
right? I mean, why? I mean, as long as you're loving what you're doing,
there it is.
There
it is. And for me, it's a healing agent. We tour a lot, we travel, we perform, and we go country to country all over the world, and you run into people who don't speak English, you don't speak their language, but you speak the language of music, and that's universal. So when you get that kind of feedback from other folks, it's the best feeling in the world, and it keeps you young. That's why a lot of musicians, God bless them, man, if they can remain healthy in this environment, in this crazy environment of all kinds of foods and toxins and stuff, if you can remain healthy, music keeps you young. It really does.
Yo, wait a second. This is Noel Gordine, and you're listening to my man, Troy Saunders, on the Bass Entertainment Podcast, baby.
Well, one thing I was trying to find your first solo album, which I can't find anywhere.
Or Variations in Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at that time it was just something I put out there, and I don't even think I put it out on the market. I called some of my friends, we got together, I made a record. My friend's father did the artwork, and so you're probably not going to find it, right. I'm sure, because I never released it in the market. I mean, it was just sort of like, put it in your trunk of your car when you're at clubs. This was during the day of, selling from the trunk of your car.
Late 90s.
Exactly. So yeah, it's not one I ever released, at least in the marketplace as they're accustomed to doing. So
all right, so I don't feel too bad, because I was like, wait a second, I got to find this thing somewhere. Where I'm going to find this?
Yeah, I mean, people have reached out about it, and sometimes I'll just like, what, I have it. I'll send it to you, just because you're right, it hasn't been released. I mean, you can't find it.
Well, if you don't mind.
I got you, man. I got you, Troy. I got you. For sure.
Well, in 2000, you released Tomorrow's Yesterday.
Yes.
Now, that's a bad joint right there, too.
That one, Tomorrow's Yesterday, that was, I wanted to include my son on that one. And I was at a point in my life where I was actually writing and trying to come up with ideas that interest me, not really thinking of, okay, what genre do I want to attack? I just wanted to play good music and have my friends join me. So I think all of my CDs are sort of in that frame mind. It's like I'm not really stuck on any particular genre. And it's really because I feel that, the music industry needed a genre in order to market. It's like, what do we call this? And okay, how do we market this? Well, let's call this that. So you end up with all these genres of music. And I just have a different attitude about that. I just think that, you play what you feel. A great saxophonist, Ernie Watts, used to tell me, just play, be honest to what you do, and you'll find your audience, and your audience will come. So I'm just going to play what I feel. I'm not locked into, okay, let me play a funk. This is going to be a funk record. This is going to be a jazz. I'm just and in today's market, it actually pans out being a better situation because people are buying singles. People aren't buying records. And back in the day, it had to be an R&B record or it had to be a jazz record. Nowadays, it's just like, okay, well, for example, when Stevie Wonder was coming out with his records, it didn't matter. I mean, Steve would have all kind of different genres, and it didn't matter to me. It's like, I'm gonna buy the record, sight on saying, Stevie has a record, I'm buying it.
Right.
And as time went on, you realize, and I mean, I still buy Stevie regardless.
Right.
But in today's market, it's you literally, especially when iTunes came online, they were offering songs. Mm-hmm. You can buy this song. You don't have to buy the whole record. And then when people started doing that, the industry saying, okay, well, this might not be a good thing. So we'll release a single. It'll blow up. It'll get really hot. And then we will say, you can only buy this if you buy the album. You can't buy this as a single, right, but you have to buy the whole album in order to get this one. So, at first you can buy each single. Then they figured out ways, okay, we got to get them to buy the whole record. But I've always felt that way. It's like, listen, I'm going to play what I feel. And when I do a record, it's, right today, I feel like a ballad. So I'm going to write a ballad or attempt to. So, yeah. And that's why my later records were called genre music and genre music too, because the genre is music.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, you play what you feel,
I'm totally with you. That's like when you're talking about a record company wants a certain sound, a certain genre on each album. And that made me, I love me some Shaka Khan. So Shaka's Destiny album, I felt was incredible. But I think people felt there was too many different genres on there for them. Yeah. It wasn't enough R&B, was too poppy, I'm like, but Mother is singing her ass off and the musicianship is insane.
Yeah. And I think that's what I love about Shaka is because she transcends the mold, if you will, about the genre. Shaka, Griffith Park with Chicory and Stanley to Miles, and she loved music enough to do it. I want to do it all, because I can do it all. And for me, that is the fun of playing with her, because it's all there. Yeah. It's all there. I mean, she has mellow moments. She has moments when she wants to go, take another path musically. And if you're a musician who thinks that way and loves music in that way, then you're not really tied to any genre. You're just like, okay, you're doing that? Let's try that, And that's how open she is about music. So yeah, that for me is a fun gig to have.
The person that grabbed that torch now, as far as I'm concerned, is like Lettucey.
Yes.
That girl, she can be anywhere also.
Yes. But I think we were in Indonesia and we were sitting at a jazz festival. We were sitting in the restaurant area having our meals, and Lettucey was there, and she was sitting next to Simon Phillips, the drummer. We were touring with Simon Phillips at the time, and Lettucey was performing, and I was amazed at the conversation Lettucey and Simon were having, because they were really into rhythms, different genres. I mean, African rhythms, Brazilian. They were speaking a language that I had even like, wow, you know about that,
right?
And so I'm just saying that to say, yeah, Lettucey she's amazing, just as a total musician. Her knowledge of different rhythms, different genres, because that's sort of how the industry frames it. Yeah, she's well-rounded. She's definitely a well-rounded, not just somebody who just sings any certain genre. She does it all. Mm-hmm. And it's very impressive just to be around her and hear her and a drummer talk about different rhythms, different time signatures, and her to be fully engaged in the conversation. It's like, oh, whatever you're saying, I'm with it. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And to have, like, when she did her Christmas record and the producer Rex Rideout called me to do it, I was like, are you kidding me? And I still today, it's not even Christmas season, and I'm still playing them. Lettuce is just, she's off the chain.
That Christmas album is insane.
Yes, she is off the chain, boy. So yeah, I'm blessed to have performed and recorded with such gifted artists, Layla Hathaway, you name it, Patty Austin, a lot of really great vocalists, and of course my queen Shaka Khan. So it's the journey I've been on has been one that I'm proud of, and to have just been in the game long enough and still going. Like I said, I'll probably be finished with this when they put me in the casket.
In case you tuned in late, our guest today is the dynamic, the incredible Melvin Lee Davis. Let's go to Tomorrow's Yesterday. I want to play the title song from that.
Okay.
I'm loving the conversation though, you know. But I got to give people, I give people a little bit of music in there, you know. Just a little.
Go ahead and put a little something on it.
Just bad. And I was ready to say, you know, that gives me a little Pat Metheny feel.
Yes. Huge fan of Pat Metheny's. Huge. I've always been a fan of Pat Metheny's. Lau Mays, all of them. Mm-hmm. Like I said, man, it was a great time for music. I mean, that whole era, man. 60s, 70s, 80s. 80s, we kind of got into the
computer stuff.
What is it? What my wife calls it, yacht rock.
Oh yeah, yacht rock.
yeah. So,
but that's good too. You know, that's good. You know, Christopher Cross and
yes, man. You know, even Al Jarreau at the time took that turn. He said, "Let me," you know, you got Jay Graydon producing, and I mean, there was this. If you were open to it all, it was all good, and I was open to it all. You know. As a working musician, you kind of have to be. You know, there are opportunities that come your way. For instance, there were times when people were like, "Hey, man, call Melvin. He's a funk bass player," and I hated that. I hated that title because I didn't want to be seen as a funk bass. I wanted to be a bass player, musician. All I cared about is making music. And if I kind of give this example to my students when they're interested in learning music, and it's an old one that I'm sure a lot of musicians use in terms of making their examples known to their students or anyone else, is I have a closet, and in my closet are many hats, and each hat represents a genre. I hate using that, but that's where we're at. It represents a genre of music. You have to be able to wear all of those hats comfortably when you're making music. But you also have to be honest with yourself. If you're not there yet as a musician, you have to be able to say, you know what? This hat, I haven't worn it in quite some time. I probably may need to dust it off and take it to the dry cleaners or something to get it clean so that I can execute what I want to execute. But for the most part, I'm a believer that if it's a rock tune, if it's a pop tune, if it's a country tune, it's whatever the genre may be, you want to be proficient at it so that when you get the call, you can step into a session or gig or anything else and perform adequately and not be in a place of mediocrity, because at the end of the day, I've always been the one that says, I don't ever want any musical situation I'm involved in. I don't ever want anyone to turn around and look at me and like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. My focus of attention needs to be on what I and the drummer are playing to make the music comfortable for whomever we're supporting. So I'm huge on whatever the genre, you have to learn it, you have to know it, you have to own it and perform in such a way that you kind of get the gig and you get the call back. That's what we're really into. Are you going to call me back? You never want to get there. Yeah, man, you sound great. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Right,
and then that's it.
Crickets,
exactly. So I never wanted to do that, and so it's always been about. And a lot of it too I think a lot of it has to do with the time in which I grew up, because there was so much exploration. I mean, of course you had the jazz, you had fusion, which really blew my mind. Mm-hmm. The musicians I enjoyed were really exploring music. They were really exploring the boundaries of harmonics and theory and stuff. So I enjoyed that. And I wanted to learn it because some of the musicians I grew up with were into that. They got into that, but, so you've got the Mahavishnu, you got Billy Cobham, you got all of these great musicians of the fusion with Brecker Brothers, all of these cats. And then, you move into the yacht rock. I guess that's what it's, is that what it's called? Yacht rock?
That's what they call it, yacht rock.
Yeah. So you got into that. And I didn't shun from it. I said, okay, well, there was actually, like you said, Christopher Scott, there was actually a lot of really nice tunes. Mm-hmm. I would sing on some of them, but my voice is bad right now.
Do you sing on any of those output input songs?
Did I? No. Stop playing, Troy. Stop playing with me. Stop playing. So, so it's, I just think during my growing years as a musician, there were so many different genres, and I loved it all. I mean, gospel, from gospel to rock to hip hop to pop, it's all there. I mean, I love it all. I'm a mood person, and now with streaming, it's really crazy because it's like, what am I in the mood for? Okay, I want to listen to that, and then I can listen to a Michael Brecker record that I absolutely love, Pilgrimage, and then swing all the way around on the next day and get into some DJ Rogers. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, what am I in the mood for? So
some Beulah Jean.
Huh?
You just when you said DJ Rogers, I just thought of Beulah Jean. That was my song.
Come on, man. Dude, me and Beulah, I wear Beulah out.
That's my song. I was a little kid I was crying listening to Beulah Jean, boy.
Man, let me tell you something. Just yesterday, I'm on a plane coming, where am I coming from? From back east. And I'm in my seat, and me and DJ are having a good time, man. And when Beulah Jean come on, I'm like, yeah. Beulah?
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's my song there, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's go back to Tomorrow's Yesterday for 1 second. You said you wanted to bring your son. Was your son playing on that album?
He was playing on, he played on one, just within the horn section. Mm-hmm.
So he plays the horn?
He wasn't featured or anything. Mm-hmm. He did more work on My Homeland and on My Homeland and the Nature Serenade than he did on the second one, Tomorrow's Yesterday.
All right.
It was sort of like, okay, let me put you on something. let me just tuck you in there, but he really didn't, it's not like he got a feature. And I just yesterday, I was looking at YouTube and found some of his work on YouTube. And I was like, he was playing Don Lee at like high speed tempos. I'm like, Wow. I used to go to, there was a place out here called Streamers, and I used to go and watch him and his band. And when we first played, Pop was kind of like doing his thing. He's like, yeah, we play straight ahead. And by the second time I went and sat in with, because I was on the road a lot, but second time I went to sit in with his band, he was on a whole nother level. And I went up there, sat in with my son. I'm like, ooh, okay. I was like, oh, son, you've been practicing, huh?
Right.
Every song he was calling out was tempos. I mean, he had tempos going. I'm like, wow. So, yeah. So he's a very talented cat, man. He's very talented.
Well, shoot, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, right?
Oh man, bless you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of him for sure.
So,
Hey, it's your girl Allison Williams, and you're listening to Bass Entertainment.
so he got some projects out that he's
No, actually, no. I mean, right now it has become. He kind of like he started doing it for a while, and then he just put it down. I mean, he still plays, but it's not. He started electronics business. Yeah, he comes into these multi-million homes and literally sets up the whole entertainment system, sets up the security system, sets it all up, hides all the cables. And I think he went into training in Chicago. He flew to Chicago to train for that, and then started his own business. And now that's what he's doing. He's going out. He's working with contractors, and he's going out and fitting these homes, top to bottom, lights, entertainment system, security. So yeah, he has a crew and he's doing his thing. And that's why I started reminiscing. That's why I went to YouTube. That's like, man, he was playing his behind off on trumpet. There was times when he would sit and he'd have on, Woody Shaw or anybody. He'd be playing the jazz playing, and then he would hear melodies, and then he would sing it, pick up his horn, and then play it. That's how he was learning. He would just like listen to a solo and then sing it with his mouth, and then put his trumpet on and just play it. And I'm like, wow. I just thought that was special. It didn't matter what he heard. If he could sing it, he could put his trumpet in his mouth and play it. So, so needless to say, I'm happy for him that he's doing his own business, he's got his thing on, but I just told him this morning, man, it'd really be nice if you and I could maybe do a duet, someone on trumpet and bass. I'd really like that, dads, kids, the things we endeavor to happen,
it'll come to fruition.
Yeah. I believe it will. I mean, I threw it out there. It's in the ether, it's in the heavens. So hopefully we'll pull it together,
Oh, definitely. But I want to give everybody the rundown on these albums, though.
Okay.
We played a little bit of something on Tomorrow's Yesterday. We played the title,
yes, sir.
The title track.
Yes, sir.
We have Nature's Serenade, which is bad. That's where you got the title, The Keeper of the Low Notes.
Yes, sir.
So who gave you that title? You made that up. You said, hey, you know what?
I just kind of, it's. I am a stickler, if you will, on being the support in any band situation. And so I will say, yeah, I am the keeper of the low notes. Hey. My job is to make the music feel good. It's not about me, it's about the music. So if I create a good bottom for everybody to flourish on top of that, then mission accomplished. So that, I just went, I just said, I'm a keeper of the low notes.
Can't get no better than that introduction. Here it is. Keeper of the Low Notes. Yes. talking about funky. Yes. The title, that song, The Keeper of the Low Notes, that song, you were able to like stretch out a little bit more on it.
Yeah. But it's because I had been, I had the title for so long. I was like, man, let me do something that that allows me to stretch out a little. But, and then after I do my little thing, I get right back in the cut and say, okay, let's be about the music.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So y'all going to get that too. Nature's Serenade with Keeper of the Low Notes. And that matter of fact, that whole thing is incredible. To piggyback off of the low note aspect of that song, you're one of the few bassists that I see that play a 7-string bass. Is that something that you came up with by yourself, or how did that come to be?
Yeah, well, it was something that I kind of developed for myself, with pen and paper. Kind of drew this thing out, and then I sent it to Ken Smith, and he kind of looked at it and he said, "Okay, well," he said, "What do you want me to do with this?" I said, "Well, I would like to, if you're so inclined, I'd like to have one made." So it took him 2 years just because he had to fit me in. And he delivered a prototype to me, and I never looked back. I love, I had, at that time I was playing, I had like maybe 5 or 6 strings by Ken Smith. And once I graduated, if you will, or moved up or upgraded to a 7-string, I got rid of all my 6 strings. Church musicians, friends who wanted Ken Smith, and now that's my instrument, and I'm disciplined enough to give the respect of the instrument it deserves, in that all the money, if you will, when I'm hired, is in the low notes. I am the keeper of the low notes. All the 7-string, because a lot of guys say, "Why do you need 7 strings?" I said, well, why does a pianist need all the keys he has? I mean, it's like everybody works within a certain parameter, but it's no different than anything else. I know where my role is as a bass player, but now I have range. Mm-hmm. If somebody says, take a solo, I think because I played saxophone, I think melodically in the higher register, because I hear it that way. It's hard for me to hear those kind of notes in the lower register. So, I just kind of figured, okay, well, I'm still going to play bass because that's my gig. But if someone says take a solo or whatever, now I have range. I can go as high as I want. I can go as low as I want. Mm-hmm. But I never lose track or the fact that I am the bass player. I am the support in the band.
Hey, this is your girl, Castella, and I am listening to my friend Troy on the Bass Entertainment Podcast.
I was going to play a little bit of everything, but, we running out of time up in here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In 2006, you came out with Homeland, which is another one that I love. And I love your remake of Yvonne Lynn's Kamikaze de Novo.
Yeah, Kamikaze de Novo.
De Novo, yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not Portuguese, so I'm not Brazilian.
No. I actually wanted to do it because I had been playing with Rittenauer, and my first gig with Rit, he was kind of living in Brazil for a while in terms of the music, the genre of music he was writing. So, I mean, Yvonne Lynn's and Javon, just great artists for me. And I'm a huge fan of Yvonne Lynn's music. So, that's just one of many I wanted to do.
Matter of fact, and you know what? Now, Patty Austin does this song. She calls it The Island.
Yeah.
But that's not the translation of that song, though.
No. They had to do something different, Kamikaze de Novo, but they had to do. Yeah, let's call it. I think when we did it with Rittenauer, they called it The Island too. But yeah, it's. I don't believe that's a translation for, but who knows?
Well, I had to find a translation, and the translation means start again.
Yeah, so maybe we're starting to get on the island,
right?
I don't know why they went from there to the island, but when I first I think I played it with Lee, and I think was it in the real book? I can't remember. But I've played it with Lee, and it had, I think on the title it had the island too. So, and then in parentheses, como sa de nuevo.
I remember when they had that tribute concert to Yvonne Lins at Carnegie Hall.
Oh wow,
that was insane. With Lisa Fisher, Shaka was there, Dionne Warwick, Vanessa Williams, James Dietrich.
That was
that's when that album came out, that tribute album that Shaka.
Yeah, because Lee was on with Lee and David. A lot of people were on that, right? Yeah. I didn't make that one.
Oh my
God! But
I
knew. Yeah, Lee told me about that.
That was insane. Phoebe Snow was jumping up, throwing stuff at Shaka because Shaka was singing her ass off that night too.
Yeah, that was Lee told me about it. That was a great night. A lot of great artists.
Woo! I came in the back door because I act like I was a star. I came in with the back door and went up the elevator to Shaka's dressing room. And I ran into Malini, and Yvonne Lins came up to Malini. Your mother is insane. She's like, she is just wearing us out today. And wait till you see what she does to this song on the show, because the rehearsal was insane.
When she brings it, she can bring it. For sure. Yeah, I love that woman. I mean, it's just been a pleasure. It's been a really great ride being in support of her and her art, for sure.
Well, that's my dream. I said, I really want Shaka on here. I sent Tammy a message. I said, Tammy, I really want Shaka on the show. I mean, I know I'm not a big, podcast. I was like, but I think if we concentrate on the music, that's what I want to do. I want to concentrate on her greatness. I don't want to bring up all this other bullshit about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or anything else. I want to concentrate on the mindset of making music with her.
Because her music is, last week I sat and because I have her whole catalog, and I just started rummaging through music, and I'm like, this woman, boy. And this is after she left Rufus. The stuff she was doing on her own was just amazing. The stuff she did with Arif Martin, Quincy, just top shelf. So her whole career is just inundated with like amazing art. It really is, so yeah, that would, I'm honest enough to say, if you can get her on this, that would be the one to have. Because I mean, you would need a whole day just to vibe the music.
I know. I like what Questlove did a couple of years ago, and he was playing tracks, and he did like a 2-day thing on Shaka, 3 episodes on Shaka. And he was getting into B-sides and everything.
Just amazing.
My friend Wanda Titline, little short lady. Anyway, she's always telling Shaka, y'all need to do a B-sides tour. Everybody loves Ain't Nobody. Everybody loves all that type of stuff. But some of them B-sides are so insane, like Twisted and, Not to Worry and, all that.
But see, for me, some of those B-sides are A-sides.
That's what I'm saying.
So Not to Worry, Twisted, Highlight. Man, we just started playing Highlight again. There's some great. I think we're going to begin to explore some of the B-sides, because there's a lot of great music, man. A lot, for sure.
Anything off of Naughty. All of that.
Clouds, all of it. It all works, for sure.
Anyway, back to Melvin. we in 2011, it was Genre, and one of the songs I loved up there was Just Drive. That girl has such a beautiful voice.
Lake, and such a beautiful spirit, man. Wonderful vocalist, wonderful songwriter. We were working together locally here, and her father kind of put a band together, and he would have her come up and sing when she was younger. And man, I just fell in love with her. I said, "Oh my gosh, she's talented." I love the folks. And once again, it's about how do you feel today? The guitar, the folksy kind of writings, and just her. First of all, lyrics were amazing. Her lyrics, all of that, and I just asked her, once again, the reason it's called genre music, I didn't care to put us in a box when we did the record. I'm like, you know what? I love that song. Can we do that on my record? Let's do that. And then the other one, Gerald Albright. Hey, Gerald, man, this is an old song I love by Joe Sample. Would you, man, come on, let's go do that. And then the Wind, which is my tribute, if you will, to Matheny. So there was just a whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of music that I was just vibing on. And I'm like, okay, but Lakin, if I could do a record with her I would have her on every record I'd ever done. She's just amazing to me.
The tone is so beautiful too.
Yes,
and
man.
Pure.
Yeah, she's just, I love her. And I don't know, I haven't spoken to her in a while, but she's one of those artists you see other artists and I'm not trying to downplay anyone else, but you see other artists and you're like, why is this person not where I think she should be? And then you're of the opinion that, you know what, in God's time, it'll happen when it happens. Because once again, this whole thing called music, there's no end to it. There's no expiration date.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're only one song away from a huge hit. So you just keep doing it. Stay focused, stay committed, and eventually it happens.
And the funny thing about it, I mean, you might have done a song 10 years ago, and it become a hit now. All you need is that one person to pick it up. You just never know, but because it literally is everlasting. You do a tune and it comes out, and just like you're mentioning songs that I'm gonna be honest with, I hadn't heard in a while, but every once in a while I start reminiscing on some of my stuff because I just hadn't heard it in a while. But yeah, that's the beauty of music, man. It's just there's always that one little thing that sparks you, and you're like, wow, or allows you to reminisce. Thus our earlier conversation about DJ. I mean, out of nowhere, DJ Rogers, right? And some people are like, "Who's DJ Rogers?" Right. So kind of telling our age. But but that's the whole beauty of music. It's like, what do I feel like today? And where do I want to, what do I want to listen to? And Lakin is one of those artists that I always wanted to listen to. And when I heard her, I'm like, okay, you got to play on my record. And she was like, too happy to. She didn't have an ego about anything, which is beautiful. And it comes through her music. She's just a humble, beautiful soul. You know what? Let's play a little bit of Just Drive.
Streets. If I could only make it to the shelter of the beach, the sun is slowly laying down, and maybe I'll just drive. And I am close to nowhere that I can run away. My heart's making it harder for me to want to stay. And I'm all out of great ideas, so maybe I'll just drive. You found me, you saw me, I still glued to the ground, and everything's gone wrong. Still you sing to me this song. Maybe I'll just drive with you. Maybe we'll just drive. Maybe I'll just cry with you. Maybe we'll just cry.
Yeah. That's just beautiful. That's one of the songs that just take you to another place. I love it.
Listen, Troy, if I could have Lakin on every record, she'd be on it. You know, because each record of Chaos needs a little subtle touch to it. Mm-hmm. And she's that subtle touch to anything she puts. I worked on her record, two of her records, and I'm like, would you please work? And this was the Joni. It's like, I need you to work on this tune for me. She just said, no problem. I did the rhythm track, sent it to her. She said, okay, let's go. That's the beauty of being in a company of musicians who just want to make music and aren't hung up on the whole genre thing. It's like, listen, let's just make music. Mm-hmm. However it goes is the way it ends up. We just want to make music. And she's that kind of a person who just, she loves to play, and her voice, everything about her is beautiful.
Well, I'm a fan now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's it. I'm in it.
Yeah, I love her voice. Man. She's
wow. People. I'm like, where have I been?
That's what I'm saying, man. She's been on the scene, but it's sort of underground. There are a lot of underground artists who are emerging and doing great things, but for some reason, and maybe it's just me because I haven't heard. Maybe for some reason she kind of just rises above the surface, but never really plateaus. I never really gets to that level that I think she should be at. And I'm not saying she won't get there. It's a slow walk to the top, but she's steadily moving forward. The motion is always forward. So I'm wishing her well.
Well, now I'm on it. I'm going to just find out some more stuff, and I'm going to.
Yes, please do, man. You won't be disappointed. She's amazing.
I know I won't, because from what I heard already, I'm like, I know what I like when I hear it.
Yes.
And it don't take me long. You know, except like if I'm going through something and people give me a whole bunch of stuff, I can tell if I like it in, the first, 2 measures and stuff. I go like, okay, I like it. Nope, that's not, that goes, that's good. That's not good. That's not. So exactly. There are some things that's kind of like, kind of maybe, it's not really blowing me away, but it's still something there. So I put it on the back burner.
That's kind of how the record executives do, right? If you're not moving me within the first 8 bars, all right, next. I'm not interested in anything growing on me. It's got to hit me right then. So, yeah, that's the nature of our business,
right? So
people like Lakin deserve spots, but yeah, and I, for one, believe that you give her 8 bars and she'll pull you in, but that's the industry.
Shoot, she pulled me in. So then, in 2013, we had Kindred Spirits, which I love that too. With Functramel. Did I say it right?
Yeah. It's a record I worked on with a good friend, Tracy Carter. We kind of came together. We were touring with Shaka at the time, and we came together and put this thing together. He's another amazing pianist, vocalist. He's special. He's so much special that it didn't take us long to put it together once we got going, but that's probably one of my favorite CDs of them all, just because it was a collaborative effort with him. It's always fun when you get together with other people and kind of make things happen. So yeah, he's really gifted cat.
And then you'll collaborate on his project too.
Yeah. Well, we all, you take a little, you give a little, but all in all, it's about making music together, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about having that conversation and making it happen, I think we come together, we decide what we're going to do. We put our heads down and we just said, okay, let's make it happen and let the chips fall where they may. And that's sort of how we've all been doing it. And Tracy and we had been touring with Shaka for a while. And I kind of put it out there. I said, man, I'd love to do something with it because I'm such a huge fan of his vocal ability. He's a great vocalist, but he's also an amazing pianist as well. So I thought maybe we could put our heads together and come up with something that's a little different than what I've been doing previous. And it fits, it's in the mold of what I've been doing, but a little more soulful. And once again, that's another genre kind of thing, because there's a gospel tune in there. There's Lakin, of course. Well, not Lakin, but my friend Sonny. We brought in other musicians from Sonny from Earth, Wind & Fire. Just a cast that we just say, hey man, let's call this guy for this record. Okay, let's call this guy. So it allowed us to kind of broaden our scope, if you will, of genres based upon what he likes to play and what I like to play. And we just kind of came together. And I hadn't really done a lot of collaboration with anybody. I just kind of, when I do a record, sometimes I just kind of sit and figure it all out. And, it takes me a while because being a bass player, I didn't want a groove record. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They always expect, if you're a bass player, they expect you to, come up with a groove, get a melody. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But my mindset is, okay, I want to try to compose something, and most of my records do have grooves or groove oriented, but I wanted to be able to go somewhere else. And this record with Tracy allowed us to collaborate and just kind of take the music different areas, still holding true to what we wanted to do musically, but, taking different avenues. So I'm happy about that one as well.
We got to play a little bit of it. Here we go, y'all. This is Funk Tremel. Yeah, that's butter. Hey, if y'all didn't know, we are listening to the music of and talking to the great Mr. Melvin Lee Davis. You have so much great music that we can listen to. Matter of fact, we can listen to your music all day, but we are running out of time, and I just want to dedicate the remaining part of this episode to Output Input. Yeah, that band, what y'all put together is just incredible. And I just want to know, how did this come to be? How did Output Input become a band?
That was actually a labor of love that happened during the pandemic. And so we put some stuff together, musicians from all around the world. We had nothing to do. We were kind of just sitting around. So we decided, hey, most of the musicians I had played with at various times before the pandemic. So when the pandemic hit, we all just kind of reached out and said, hey, man, I've got an idea. Why don't we kind of do something while we're just sitting around? And that's how the band was formed.
Wow. Yeah. And because I remember the horns, what they call it? What's the horn section?
The Triple H horns.
Triple H horns, yeah. I remember they were playing on a gig that Shaka was doing also that you all worked together. Yeah,
what had happened, I like this, what had happened was, now, there was a contest that Shaka had, and they were participants in the contest, and they, along with this other female dancer, they won the contest. And a brother by the name of Gary Clark brought them to my attention and said, hey, man, this horn section, they just won the contest. And since Shaka's going to be in London, we want to know if you'd be interested in having them join you on a song. And I'm like, well, I'm a little skittish about letting people just join in, and I haven't heard them or seen them. So I was a little lukewarm on the idea. And I said, well, man, is there a YouTube video or something? Since they won the contest, is there a video that I can look at? So he, directed me to this YouTube video, and Triple H horns, never heard of them. So I played the video, and they were singing one of her tunes. And I'm like, whoa, really tight horn section, youngsters from my age. I was like, man, these guys are good. So I agreed. And then I asked them, I reached out to them by email, and I said, well, hey, if you guys want to do, if you want to play on more songs, you're more than welcome to, but yeah, we'd love to have you join us. And they said, well, man, we'll play the whole show. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that, but they actually ended up doing the whole show, and Shaka heard them. She's like, okay, that's my new horn section.
Okay.
They were really good. And yeah, they came out of nowhere for me, but I mean, they came well dressed, well prepared, and just killed the gig.
I remember that gig. That's like, yeah. And then what happened is then it was a few gigs after that and they weren't there. I'm like, where's the horn section?
Yeah, it was one moment in time. It wasn't, it's like we all have opportunities where we get to play with some of our heroes, if you will. And then when we have those moments, we're like, okay, well, is there anything else? Can I go on the road with you? And it was just, they're in the UK, we're in the States, and we just like, okay, while we're here playing, we'd love for you to come and play. And, we just kind of developed a relationship from that.
Cool. So when y'all do output input, y'all all over the place, and then y'all put it together, huh?
Yeah. I mean, the Daeun and Boo, who are in South Korea, I went out there to do a mini tour of my own music, and a friend of mine put a band together of musicians from Korea. And these were the two that stood out to me. They were all great musicians, but these two really stood out to me. And so we just stayed in touch, and I was going to Korea maybe once or twice a year with Rittenhour. So whenever I arrive, I'd get together with them. We'd go out and eat and, and just play music and stuff. So I stayed in contact with them. And then when the pandemic hit, I just figured, okay, well, I'm sure they're sitting around too, because it's in Asia and there's a lot of craziness going on in Asia, right? So I reached out to them, and they were all too happy to do it, because literally we were all sitting around doing nothing. Some of us had home studios, so we were doing sessions or doing what we could. But for the most part, people were itching to play. So I just called out everybody that I played with, because there were different versions of the concept early on of output input. And then we settled into a group that, kind of just worked musically. So, yeah, so we have some Germany, UK, Korea, and I might be leaving out another country, but that's the gist of it. In America, of course.
Well, that's like a UN conglomerate there.
Exactly. It's like the UN. And, it's the only difficult part, if you will, is conceptually saying, okay, now, how do we pull this all together? Because basically we've been doing this via video in studio. We've been building that way. And we're hoping next year to actually get out and do a lot of playing collectively, because we've been doing it in the studio. And it would be nice to, with this new record coming out, it'd be nice to pull it all together and do a promotional tour of some sort. We're working on it.
All right. Well, I'm down for that, because I'm like, yes, I'm like, y'all got almost like 20 singles out.
That's what we were doing. That's pretty observant of you, Troy. Yeah, we've been popping them out, man. It's like, at first we were doing covers of songs that we all liked, and then we started doing originals. And the latest of Someone I Used to Love, we just started popping these out, and And it's really been great, man. Shout out to all the cats in the band. Jacob, Patrick, Nick. I mean, we all just kind of came together and it started to snowball because we really enjoyed playing together. And next thing you know, we were like, okay, well, let's do this. So this will be the first LP, CD, streamer, whatever the format is these days. This will be our first.
Well, I hope you do come out on vinyl because everybody's starting to put a little vinyl nowadays.
Yes, but it's crazy. I just remember when you could pull some change out of your pocket and get one. Now you have to take out a loan.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God! I mean, it's like it's full circle, but it's and maybe you can tell me, is it with vinyl now? It really depends on the kind of turntable you have too, right? I mean, it's like you have to have really good equipment in order to play these LPs now, right?
Well, I mean,
that's what they're offering, though, right?
Right. Well, I mean, what I have, because
come on, tell it, Troy.
No, I just have a regular Audio Technique turntable, and it's Bluetooth.
Okay.
So it sends a signal. I don't need to hardwire it. Even though I have one downstairs that it does need to be hardwired. Yeah. But I just got a whole bunch of Bluetooth speakers, Bose Bluetooth speakers around, and I just send a signal to them, and it's good.
Yeah. My daughter, she got into the whole K-pop thing and started buying vinyl. Vinyl records, and I had to get her into a turntable. To be honest with you, I didn't think that was coming back. And now it's coming back like a flood. It's like, it's the thing now, so that's cool.
I mean, shoot. I mean, one thing I realized, because I not all the vinyls have the same sound also. Because I bought a newer vinyl of it was like an anniversary of Michael Jackson's Thriller album.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that on my turntable, and I'm like, this don't sound right. The sound is not as clear. It's not as. And I put my original version on, and it was so much clearer. I said, "All right, so you're doing us dirty. You're just putting on the vinyl, making us thinking we getting the analog version, but you're still giving us the digital version."
So the materials that are being used aren't really at the quality. Because I remember back in the day, especially when the CD technology came online, you could have, Miles and all of these great CDs. Okay, now we're in the CD age. Now we're great. But if you still put on an old Blue Note LP, it still sounded way better than any of the CDs. I don't know if it was the compressing that had been done. I mean, I didn't really follow the technology. I just followed what my ears heard. And it still sounded better listening to old Blue Note records and Creed Taylor records, CTI records, than listening to CDs that had been released. So maybe they hadn't gotten the whole CD technology so that the audio reflected the tech.
Yeah, definitely. And that's when I realized, all right, but you don't know until after you already bought it.
True. And you try to justify when it's not sounding good. You're like, oh, okay, all right. Then you look for somebody who may not be an audiophile. And you say, man, I got a record for you. You might like this. Here, check this out. No, take it.
Exactly.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Well, we're going to go back to, I think the first single that y'all did with Output Input is In the Stone, which was Earth, Wind & Fire. Was that the first single you put out?
Yeah. That was.
Or was it Get on the Floor? One of those two was the first one, the Michael Jackson or
No, you're right. In the Stone, because we were sort of, that was sort of the development of the group, and it was really one of our favorite songs, and it was an Earth, Wind & Fire classic. So we were like, okay, can we pull this off? And Patrick hired all the strings, and this is when we didn't have the pandemic going on, so you could have a studio full of strings and everybody in the studio at the same time. So that was the first one, and it was a favorite of ours. So of course, we jumped on it, and then we had different musicians at that time, Kaz Rodriguez, Chris Brown. So we had a lot of different cats working on it at that time, but that was the first time we were just kind of figuring it out. But that was a great tune. That was like my favorite, and maybe we kind of talked about it. I said, man, let's do this one. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, how are we going to pull this off with all the strings and the horns? And I mean, I knew the horns were there, but so yeah, he asked some of his friends, it's like, you guys want to do this? And they're like, sure. So yeah, it turned out nice though. It turned out really nice.
Well, let's give the people a little sample.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me play a little something. Hey, check this out. This is from 2020, right before the pandemic. It's Output Input. It's the first single that they came out with, and it's called In the Stone. And you might know it from Earth, Wind & Fire. So check it out. Yeah, I'm just giving y'all a sample. I'm just giving everybody a sample. I want you to go on out there and download it and stream it and share it. Get you some. Go on. Yeah, and I must say that lead vocalist, what's his name? Wayne Hernandez is doing the daggone thing. He sounded incredible. I love his version. I love his voice. And I just want to give a shout out. Shout out to Wayne Hernandez on those vocals. We played the first single from 2020, In the Stone by Earth, Wind & Fire. And you did so many wonderful songs. And you covered The Shock in there, What You Gonna Do For Me, Eye to Eye. You also did
another B-side that was nice.
Okay, Isley Brothers, one with Audrey Wheeler, Downing. Yeah. That Here We Go Again. That's my girl, man. She's another amazing artist. Yes, y'all did the thing on that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everything Output Input has put out has been great as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a labor of love for us. Once again, we're moving forward with the idea that we want to do big things with the group. So I appreciate that.
Let's play Smiling Faces, and we're going to play the latest single, Someone I Used to Love.
Yes, shout out to Antonio McClendon.
Yes,
bad brother on the vocals. Give him some, Antonio.
All right, let me give him some hands. Yeah. So we gonna play the single before this one, which is Smiling Faces, and then we're gonna play someone I used to love. Gives me that's some Luther. If Luther was around right now,
sir.
Luther was
sir,
right.
and man, every time I hear it, I mean, it's like when we recorded it, it was amazing, but Antonio just put a whole nother thing, and it reminds me of Luther. It does. I mean, he killed it.
All day. When I had to say, oh my God. Oh, this is something Luther would have done. That's what I say all the time. But before we get to someone I used to love, we're going to play another song that's being sung by Antonio McClendon. It's the hit before this one called Smiling Faces. And once again, brother can sing. Check it out.
Looking back on those nights when we used to get down. Yeah. Man, I love reminiscing about the hottest place in town. Woo! We were young, we were free. Music took us to a higher place. Yeah. Dancing made everything alright. Lord, you know how I miss dancing all through the night. Wow, I love those memories. So glad I lived those times. Happy memories fill my mind. Smiling faces, happy dances. That's the way every night should be. Smiling faces, happy dances. That's the way every night should be. Oh, smiling faces, happy dances all the way. Out on the floor, with not a care in the world. Not a care in the world. Oh. We were just getting down, spinning round to the soulful sounds. Yeah. No stress, no drama in that spot. Only love lived there for us all to share. Smiling faces, happy dances. That's the way it should be. Smiling faces, happy dances. That's the way every night should be. Ooh,
yeah. If that don't make you feel good, that's a feel-good song if I've ever heard it.
Yes, sir.
The title makes you smile, and then the song just makes it smile even wider.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Man. Antonio.
Yeah. Yo, I just want to say.
Band, huh?
No, go ahead.
No, we, I mean, we've had many vocalists bless us, if you will, with their art on many different, but Antonio, at least for me, just, he's the guy, because he does remind me of Luther.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the maturity, the command of melodies and harmonies. So when we came out with Smiling Faces, the guys are like, what should be the next single? I'm like, oh, someone I used to love. I mean, that's, that touches me to the core. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it doesn't define my life, but it's such a great tune. The way he delivers the melody and the ballad. It's plus, we love ballads. Come on, man.
Exactly. I mean, that's when you do your best singing, as far as I would say.
Come on, man. Come on. True. Facts.
If you sing a ballad, that's when you do your best singing, because you got to make people feel it.
Come on, man. I used to sit here and this is even with Layla. I used to sit here and one quick story. We were in Tahoe somewhere on the way to a gig, and Layla and I were sitting next to each other, and Layla said, Melvin, I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this song. She put on her father, a song that hadn't been released yet, and I think it was either Superwoman or another ballad. And man, I sat next to Layla listening to this, because that's another person. I'm a huge Donny Hathaway fan.
Oh, me too.
I sat next to Layla, listening to and I started boohooing. She's like, she just started rubbing my shoulder. It's all right. I'm like, woo. Her dad just touched my spirit.
Okay.
And that's what Antonio does for me, man. It's like when you can tell when somebody's honest and true with what they're singing, Mm-hmm. And I just think we're blessed to have him on these tracks. He's a good brother, and he's very talented, humble, and it comes through the music. Okay, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Hey, and I couldn't agree more because, like I said, the first few notes of that daggone someone I used to love, I was like, oh,
yes, sir, yes,
this
sir.
This is the song right here. This is the song.
Absolutely.
So when is the EP come? When is the LP? And will all these other songs? It should be a double because you should have all the songs that you already did on there.
I know.
Plus.
I know. Well, we just released obviously the video and the audio on the 16th. I think we had pushed the release date back. Yeah, we'll stay tuned. We haven't. Okay. I mean, it's like the record is finished. I don't know if we have an exact release date because we've been pushing it back because we wanted to get a couple more singles out, but it's finished. So just look out for it.
All right. Well, you know I'm looking.
Come on, man.
And y'all look out for it too, because you know it's gonna be fire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, absolutely. I'm like you though. I'm like, okay, let's stop with the singles. Let's get the record out. You said, man, you've got about 24 singles you didn't really start with. When you said that, I'm like, yeah, you got a point. Yeah, you got, I don't know how old he was, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to tell you all also, I made a Melvin Lee Davis playlist on Spotify and iTunes. So if you go on over there, everything that we talked about that we didn't get to play is on there.
Nice. I'm gonna go over there now.
Right? Go on over there and check it out. And it has all the output input songs on there. So go in and listen and get your life. Because, if you love music like I love music, you're in the right spot. And if you put that on, you're going to live. So go on over there, check it out. It covers, like Melvin says, it's all genres. Anything. Yeah. But it makes you, but no matter what, music is supposed to touch your heart and touch your soul. And no matter what the genre is, I mean, shoot, I can listen to some country music and it's going to touch my heart.
Real talk. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not about genres, but it's the feeling behind it. So go in there, check it out. Matter of fact, my daughter and I was driving over here today and we were listening to the playlist.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
She said, "Oh, that's nice. I like that. Oh, she has a nice voice." Yeah. So, she plays the violin also and piano a little bit.
Yeah, well, man, hey, man, music is everlasting. It's a gift that keeps on giving. So I'm humbled and yeah, I'm really humbled that you invited me to come and speak with you about the group. And we're looking forward to good things happening with this because we're all excited that we went from pandemic to actually having this stuff move in the forward direction. Mm-hmm. Thus the name Forward Motion. So yeah, this is a good thing. Yes, we're hoping it does something.
Well, I can't wait for y'all to get together and go on a tour. Shoot, maybe by that time, I'm starting to do some promotions too, some indie artists. Maybe I have y'all come over and do a show.
Come on now. Come on now. We're ready for it.
Okay. So I like to tell everybody, thank you for coming out today. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoy what you listen to. I hope you got some knowledge. I hope you learned something new and got some new music for your repertoire. And especially, I hope you just had a good time. I hope it made your spirit feel good. I hope it made you smile. And because that's what we need right now. Let's spread love. Let's spread energy. Let's positive energy.
Amen.
And, just keep everything positive, shall we say.
Yeah,
keep it positive.
Absolutely.
And
the music, the tie that binds us all.
Yes, it is. And one more thing I want to say, I didn't do my service announcements or nothing today, but I just wanted to tell you all also, I was just telling Melvin about promotion and concerts. I have a concert coming up in Connecticut on September 16th. So get your tickets. It's it's the first Bass Entertainment Gala. and it's a jazz set. And we are going to have Steve Kroon, who used to play with Luther. He's going to put his Latin jazz out. And Ty Stevens and Soul Jazz, they're going to come up there and grace us with his beautiful, soulful, jazzy voice. And then Carla Cook is going to come in there and give us a little Ella, Sarah. You know, we're going to cover all aspects of jazz on this particular show. You know, so it's definitely going to be a great show. It's going to be a great time. It's for two wonderful charities. It's the Anna Grace Project, whose father, Jimmy Green, his daughter was killed in Sandy Hook. And, this charity is in her name. And they even have a school named after her in near Hartford, Connecticut. And I went to the school for an event that they had, and they teach the students from first grade up to 12th, and it's mainly a music school. So they are learning from first grade all the way up to 12th grade specialty music. I went to go see the middle school play. They was ready to gig. I mean, them boys was just bad. Boys and girls was just bad.
Nice.
You know? So this is definitely a charity worth, coming out for, as well as Chelsea's charity, who's a little girl and that lives in Danbury, Connecticut. Well, now she's a teenager now, but when she started this charity, she was in elementary school, and she's an artist, and she loves art. And she knows when she did art, she felt centered, she felt calm. And she said, you know what? I think other kids around the country can benefit from doing artwork. So she collects art supplies and gets art lessons for kids all around the country that's at risk, so they can go someplace, an artistic outlet for them.
Yes,
so,
that's awesome, man.
Right? At 8 years old, to come to that realization,
Purpose driven. That's all good.
So those two charities will be benefiting from this show as well. So come on out, support. And thank you for my supporters that have been supporting, like Barbari's Grill in Danbury, and the Holiday Inn in Danbury has rooms. If you're coming from a distance and you want to stay, they got a discounted rate for you that weekend. Come over there and get your room if you don't feel like going home that night. And a lot of people have been looking into this and helping me out through this, and Art and Frame in Newtown, Connecticut. So come on up, enjoy the show. Enjoy the food. If you get a VIP ticket, we got meals and swag bags and all sorts of giveaways. So, hey, it's going to be a great day. So I had to get my public service announcement in there. Amen. So, and Melvin, thank you, man. Thank you for gracing our podcast. It has been
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
it's been fun.
Shoot, it's been my pleasure. And once again, y'all, I didn't forget, we still gonna go out on the latest single, Someone I Used to Love. And if you love a good slow jam, this is for you right here, baby. That's one thing I feel is missing in some of today's music. They don't give you a slow jam like they used to. Everybody popping around too much. They need to sit down and get into a slow jam, get into their feelings. I think kids nowadays are not really into their feelings like we were.
No, I'm with you. I agree with you.
So once again, have a good day, a good night, a good evening, good morning, wherever you're listening, and whatever time of day you're listening. And let's continue to love each other, okay? And until then, Someone I Used to Love. Check it out.
A part of me, and her memory takes me to a special place. I so long to be with someone I used to love. Yeah. Never thought that she'd be gone from me. How on earth can this really be? Love, please bring back someone I used to love. I spend so much of my day wondering who she's loving now. I just can't believe that I lost her love somehow. She remains a part of me, and her memory takes me to that special place. I so long to be with someone I used to my love. I never thought that she'd be gone from me. How on earth can this really be? Love, please bring back someone I used to know. Oh, my love. I planned my whole life around her. It just don't feel right without her. I thought she felt the same way too. What is my heart to do? Nowadays, life just ain't the same, and loneliness is no friend of mine. There's no fairness in this game. I really thought it was my time. Oh, thinking time ain't no good.
Hey, it's your girl, Allison Williams.
Hey, this is Devon Howard.
Hi, this is Beth.
Hi, this is Cindy Mizell.
Hi, this is Tony Walker.
Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Darian Dean.
Hey, everybody, this is the Queen of Philadelphia, Tangeray Hayward.
Hey, everybody, this is Yazira.
Hi, this is Mason.
Hey, everybody, this is Russell Taylor.
Hey, this is Shireen Crutchfield.
And this is Ricky Jones.
And we are Crutchfield Jones.
Hey, this is Corey Day.
Hey, this is your girl, Castella.
What's up, y'all? This is St. James, and you're listening to my man, Troy Saunders, on the Bass Entertainment Podcast. Let's get it, baby.